Over the past 18 months, I've spent $29,423 leasing this Rivian from Rivian. And over the term of the lease, I'm going to spend over $36,000 because I forgot about things like registration. Registration for year 2 on this vehicle was $1,100. So I'm going to show you some things in the lease that I'm going to have to pay as I turn it in. I'm going to tell you if it was worth it, what I got, and if I would do it again. So a quick flashback to the ordering process and why I chose to lease instead of buy. So the main reason I chose to lease this expensive truck is because I thought my wife was going to think that I was more attractive parading around town in a car that I couldn't afford. So the actual reason that I leased this truck is because I didn't want to pay $90,000 for a truck, and I also didn't want to get another Tesla to make videos on. I wanted to get something different, and Rivian to me is a really exciting company for various reasons that I will explain. So the other thing is people will say, well, why did you get an R1T over an R1S? Well, at the time of me doing the lease, I couldn't lease an R1S. It wasn't an option. About a month later, you were able to, but I wanted to get something before the year end, and this is what I ended up with. Now, the spec of it is awesome. The other thing about leasing is I have a fixed cost over X amount of years. So I did a 2-year lease, 24,000 miles, and I knew that I was going to be around $34,000 in cost. So for my YouTube channel, I had to make that much to make it worth it. The other thing is I knew that they were going to be coming out with a referral program, so making the YouTube videos, I was able to benefit from that as well. So I've already made more than the lease is going to cost making videos on the Rivian, so we are profitable on it. And I've also got to really experience and enjoy this vehicle so I can give you guys actual really good feedback on if this is worth owning or not. Now, the other car that I could have looked into was a Model X, and I did consider that. The main reason that I didn't go with the Model X was just because, again, it was like a $110,000 vehicle for what I wanted. The lease prices weren't that good at the time. And I wanted to try something outside of Tesla, which led me to Rivian. Now, I've seen people say Rivian won't be here in 2 years, they're going bankrupt, blah, blah, blah. But after driving and owning their product and seeing how much owners love them and the roadmap ahead with R2 and R3, I think they are going to be totally fine. So this costs $1,003 per month, and what does that get me? This one has the Rivian Sport Dark 22-inch wheels, which is a $3,500 option. It has the large battery pack for $6,000, and that gives me 341 miles of range. The limestone exterior paint, $1,750. The performance pack for $5,000. And like I said, 12,000 miles a year. And if I go over 12,000 miles, it costs 30 cents per mile, but I will not be going over. Now, the performance pack gives you an extra 130 horsepower, takes the 0 to 60 time from 4.5 seconds to 3.4 seconds, and it adds a few extra drive modes. There's sport mode, there's soft sand mode, and there's rally mode. But the truth is, I really don't use that. On paper, you look, you're like, oh wow, I can go 3.4 seconds to 60 and has a ton of horsepower. But in use, for $5,000, I really don't think it's worth it. Now, Rivian does occasionally do promotions where they will include the performance pack, or if you do one paid upgraded option, they will add the performance pack in, or give you a special rate if you buy one with the performance pack, because essentially it's a software locked feature. So there are times when they will discount it, and I think at that point, yes, it's worth considering. But paying $5,000, I personally don't use that, and I would caution you on spending that. Now, the other thing you need to be aware of is Rivian, like I said earlier, has a referral program. So if you use my code like you see on the screen, you get $500 toward their gear shop. So that could be for a bike rack, that could be for the bed racks that go along here, that could be for merchandise or toward your home charger. So if you're buying or leasing a Rivian, you should 100% be using a referral code. Now you can use mine if you want. I'll put it on the screen, and that is worth it. Now, getting a $500 referral toward a Rivian is great, but let me do you one better, because today's video sponsor, CCAN Action Fund, is giving you the chance to win either a Rivian or something else. If you're looking for your chance to drive off in a brand new electric vehicle and support a nonprofit working for a cleaner environment, I have the perfect opportunity for you. This year's electric vehicle raffle for the planet from CCAN Action Fund is better than ever, and here's why. Every entry to this gives you not one, not two, but 3 entries to win one of 3 electric vehicles. The grand prize winner gets to pick from 6 luxury EVs: the rugged Rivian R1S, a Rivian R1T truck, the brand new Lucid Gravity, the sleek Lucid Air, the bold Porsche Macan EV, or a Porsche Taycan. The second place winner will get to choose between a Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Volkswagen ID Buzz. I drove the ID Buzz and I loved that thing. And this year, there is a third prize. The third place winner will get the reliable Chevy Equinox EV. Now, here's what I love about this. Only 10,000 tickets are going to be sold. Each ticket costs $200, and buying one ticket gives you 3 chances to win what I just mentioned, as well as supporting CCAN Action Fund's mission to fight for cleaner air and a healthier environment. Even better, the group covers state and federal taxes, and there might be tariffs, but they cover those too. So head over to www.evraffle.org to grab your ticket. That's evraffle.org, or check the link in the description for 3 shots to win the EV of your dreams. Now, as far as technology on here, and is this lease worth it? Because again, $36,000. Now, I make YouTube videos. I try to get a return on the cars that I own. But trying to think for someone that is not in that scenario, you got to think like at the end of your lease, you're left with nothing. But some people view it as you can write off the miles easier for work. And then if you're someone that's going to get a car every couple years, leasing's probably better for you because you don't have to take that huge depreciation hit in trading your car in. And when you lease, you pay taxes on the entirety of the lease, not the entire cost of the vehicle. So I saved like $4,000 just by doing that. Now, as far as the UI, the infotainment and all of this goes, I really like it. It's not as in-depth as Tesla. People say, what do you like driving better, your Rivian or your Tesla? It just doesn't have as much depth to it. Now, there are some cool things. They just refreshed the energy app here. So this is really cool. And look at this little guy here. If you tap him, he changes his face. So, like, they have done some very cool things here that show exactly how much mileage you're going to get, the kilowatt hour usage over the next 24 hours. And look, it says tip, climate control is working hard. And that's because it's 117 degrees out. It's actually probably 111. This is always a little bit ahead of what it actually is. So I like the UI interface in this thing, but it's not as smooth as what Tesla has, because that's the main comparison. With that said, I don't really care. I don't care that Tesla is a little bit better. I don't care that this is slightly laggy at times. I like it. I like being in this car. I like the materials that they use. I like how it looks. I like how it drives. I like the air suspension. It really hits a spot because, again, I'm not someone who would have ever leased or owned a truck, and Rivian built something that pulled me in. And I don't care about trucks. So the infotainment system, I think, is good. The over-the-air updates have been great. So if I click here and I put my foot on the brake, so I can adjust the ride height to high. I can change the ride feel, okay? And then you have all these graphics over here, like that change as you go through them. And these have been updated. So before it only used to be soft and firm. Now they've added moderate. They've changed regenerative braking. So you have 3 different settings that you can change it to. You can change your stability. So they've done really all of the things you want them to do that as an owner or as a lessee, they give you more features over the air updates. I don't have to go to the service center. Now, as far as range goes on this thing, range is excellent. You can do real world over 300 miles of range. I drove it across the country, had no issues with range. And a lot of times, you have to go to the bathroom before you have to charge the car. So range has been good. Performance has been good. Like I said, it has the performance pack, but I don't really use it. As far as these screens going out, I had to do a soft reset once. To do a soft reset, you hold this down. Then you also hold this down at the same time, and then the car will reset itself. In a Tesla, you hold these 2 buttons down, and the car resets itself. So that's all been good. The other thing to keep in mind is it does have gear guard, so you have cameras around the car that record. There's a SD card down in here that stores that footage on it, and then you can pull it off the card and use that for crash footage, or if something crazy happens, you can post it online and become a billionaire, like Bezos. So that has all been good. But here is some numbers for the lease. So here's the breakdown. $1,003 a month, and it was $18,396.99 down. but $7,500 of that was the federal incentive. So the total from me paid in cash was $10,896.99. Now I did pay $5,000 down and I didn't have to, but I also could not get a straight answer from anyone at Rivian. They didn't seem to know if I could put zero money down, and at the time it was $1,000 non-refundable. Now it is much more transparent and there's more information out there. So putting the $5,000 down actually saved me $500 over the term of the lease, because if I didn't put $5,000 down, the monthly payment would have simply been higher. Also, insurance. A lot of people think these are expensive to insure. This costs $122 a month for full coverage. That is with State Farm. And the other thing that I recommend that I put on here was windshield protection film. I got that done at Dynamic Tint. Expel just released it, and these windshields seem to crack a lot. And I got that film on and took multiple rocks off of it, and I love it. So highly recommend that as well. So on paper, I'm paying BMW X5 money, but what I got was something very, very different. Ergonomically, they have done such a nice job with this. So you have this space up here. There's enough space right in here to hold a set of golf clubs to sit up there. In addition to that, you have the adventure hole, as I like to call it. Some call it the gear tunnel, I call it the adventure hole. So you can put golf clubs in here. You can actually put two sets of opposing clubs in here, and then you have all the space in the cabin. So they just have done such a nice job with using space effectively in this thing. And then you can pop this open, and there's storage down here for a full-size spare. I have it empty, but there's also a drain plug down there. You could use that as a cooler. So they've done a really nice job with this thing, and you got to think, you're getting something out of this that, like, if you lease a BMW, if you lease a Mercedes, there's still oil changes and all kinds of stuff involved in that. With this, especially if you're charging at home, the ongoing monthly costs are even less. But this wouldn't be a fair review if I didn't talk about some pain points. We need to talk about these tires back here, okay? Beautiful looking wheel, right? The Sport Darks. I was pumped about it. I was like, this is a road tire. It should last fine. They are already at like 430 seconds tread life. I need to turn them in with 430 seconds tread life, and I have 6 months left on the lease. So I'm going to have to replace these tires before I turn it in. And the other problem is they cost $600 a piece. So it's $2,400 I'm going to have to pay when I turn this in, plus the disposition fee. I think it's called a disposition fee, where I have to pay them additional $495 to give them the vehicle. Now, there is a way I think I can get out of that disposition fee, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. So what about build quality? What about any charging issues? And what about taking it to service? Oh! As far as build quality goes, I've been pretty impressed with this thing. It's been good. The build quality is good. I think the paint quality is very good. Everything seems to be aligned correctly. The one thing that does worry me is the hood. So if I pop the hood on this, there's like a slight stutter. Yeah, right there at the end, this like kicks out of place. So that kind of worries me. But again, the warranty on these things is pretty good. So, and again, I'm leasing it. So if something goes wrong, it's absolutely going to be covered. And a few things have gone wrong. So this button to the frunk, that broke. It didn't work, so they had to fix that. They fixed it in like 3 hours, same day I had my car back. They've also always either had a loaner for me, or they set up an enterprise car, or they had like Uber or Lyft credits set up ready to go. So they're doing a nice job with that. For my annual tire rotation, they came to the house and did it. It was like $87 to have the tires rotated. During that time, they found that the car was out of alignment, so the car actually pulls to the right pretty hard right now. But that would cost me $200 to get fixed. That was not covered. But I didn't get it fixed because it's a lease. I'm like, I'll just deal with it while we have it. I also had an issue with the front window not sealing. So when I drive the car initially, everything is fine. But if I put the window down, this is my new pointer, by the way. When I would put the window down, it just didn't seal all the way up. So they had to do a reset and fix that. And that's all been squared away. So it's had like little minor annoying things. And then recently, what was going on? It was like confused where it was at. It always thought it was at my house when I was like out driving around. So we had to do a hard reset. I had support called me, walked me through the reset. We did it. It fixed everything. Support also followed up the next day like, hey, just wanted to make sure everything is good with the car, and it has been. So that's a concern that people have had. They say, well, I don't live near a service center, or the service center is 2 hours away. Some of these things you have to take it in for, and because it's a new car, you don't want to take it to a third-party shop where you're going to have to pay. You want the manufacturer to take care of it. So I think that that is a valid concern of people to say, well, I don't live near a service center, because it does take time, and you want your product working perfectly because of what you're paying to own it. So it's a valid concern. I think most likely you're not going to have any issues, or if you do have an issue, it's a small one that is fixed. I've just had small nuisances with this. It's not been anything major. So was it actually worth it? Yes, I'd say it was for a few reasons. When the lease is done with this car, I got to really experience it without being stuck into something that is going to depreciate a lot. Also, if something did go really wrong, which luckily it hasn't, I wouldn't be stuck owning this car outright or having to do some type of lemon law. And because of the Rivian referral program, I will be able to get a discount on my next Rivian. Local driving is great because the vehicle is efficient and it costs way less than a gas equivalent. Also, using climate feature where the truck cools itself has been really convenient while it's 100,000 degrees here in Phoenix. So, for me, has it been worth it to lease this Rivian? Yeah, it has. It's been a great experience. I'm happy that I was able to share a real owner experience of what it is like to own this, what it's like to road trip it. I've done detailing videos. I've done all of that stuff. And I've had a decent amount of people who have seen me in person say, hey, like, should I go to Rivian? Is that better than Tesla or whatever? I don't know that anything's better. It's going to vary person to person what you actually think. Some people think the Nissan Leaf is the best thing since sliced bread, and God bless them, right? This has been very fun to own. I think, keep looking at the leasing incentives. The referral program is great on top of all of their leasing incentives, because you do get a lot of car for the $7,500 federal tax rebate that is still in effect. It looks like that's going to end at the end of this year. On top of all of that, and not gas versus electric, but electric cars, the way this drivetrain is so nice. The power that you have access to, it's very easy to drive. You don't have to get into it or lean it, wait for the V8 or wait for the twin turbos and all that stuff. And as time goes on, this isn't as expensive to own as one of those gas equivalents. So just the electric drivetrain in this, and the fact that they deliver on range and the off-road capability, I absolutely love this thing. Like, I'm just having a blast with it, and I hope the company takes off with more success when they come out with a cheaper R2 variant, which is only like $45,000. That's, for what you get, that's not bad. Now, I have driven this across the country, so you can click this video right here to check that out. And also, thank you to CCAN for sponsoring the video. I'll have their information with a link in the description. It's an awesome cause. The fact that you get 3 entries into that, buying 1 ticket, is incredible. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.